discussion? Chair recognizes Mr. Carter. For what purpose?
Madam Chair, I seek recognition and offer an amendment in the nature of a substitute.
The clerk will report.
Amendment in the nature of a substitute to H.R. 7623.
Without objection, the reading of the amendment is dispensed with. Gentleman's recognized for 5 minutes on his.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'd like to offer this bipartisan amendment that I'm leading with Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester, which improves accessibility, affordability, and quality of health care, regardless of where patients live. Unfortunately, Americans living in rural areas too often have few to no health care options available close by, contributing to a 43% higher mortality rate. Thankfully, this committee is considering my legislation, the Telehealth Modernization Act, to preserve patients' access to telehealth, which will help patients, particularly seniors and those in rural areas, access health care. Telehealth has proven to be a safe, effective way to deliver care. It's a lifeline for patients in rural areas and those with mobility issues. Additionally, it addresses health care workforce shortages. I often say that we knew how important telehealth was before the pandemic, but we didn't quite realize it until the pandemic. Without congressional action, critical Medicare telehealth flexibilities will expire at the end of this year, creating an access cliff for millions of patients. That is why I introduced the Telehealth Modernization Act with Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester, which would extend these Medicare telehealth flexibilities and ensure access to care for seniors. The amendment before us today would preserve Medicare patients' access to telehealth through 2026 and extend audio-only coverage to help increase accessibility for those with limited or no access to broadband services. The amendment included Dr. Joyce's Sustainable Cardiopulmonary Rehabilitation Services in the Home Act, which allows patients to continue receiving in-home cardiac and pulmonary rehabilitation services under Medicare. It also extends the hospital-at-home telehealth program through 2029, utilizes health centers and rural health clinics to provide telehealth, and makes important program reforms. I'm also pleased to see the bipartisan amendment include crucial pharmacy benefit manager reforms, which will delink PBM compensation from the cost of medications and increase price transparency, lowering the cost of prescription drugs for seniors. While I'm disappointed that we are not making these Medicare telehealth flexibilities permanent, I look forward to working with my colleagues on this committee to ensure that these vital telehealth services do not lapse. I also want to address the imminent expiration of DEA telehealth prescribing flexibilities at the end of this year. The Online Pharmacy Consumer Protection Act of 2008 mandated the DEA to establish permanent rules for prescribing controlled medications via telehealth. Congress has twice asked the DEA to do this, and they've ignored the intent of Congress both times. During the pandemic, a temporary waiver allowed providers to prescribe controlled substances via telehealth without an in-person visit, which has been a lifeline, especially in rural and underserved areas. As these DEA flexibilities are set to lapse in December, patients who depend on telehealth services for their medications face a critical situation. I'm dedicated to working with my colleagues to ensure these flexibilities are extended, safeguarding patients' access to their medications while establishing necessary safeguards against misuse. I urge my colleagues to support the Telehealth Modernization Act and address the critical issue of DEA prescribing flexibilities. Thank you, Madam Chair, and I yield back.